All right, folks, here we are again. Our next topic, we're going to call this periodization. Periodization. So period, I-Z-A-T-I-O-N, periodization. And we're going to basically see how we have taken all of what we know about history and we put it into certain time periods. Now, the earliest one is going to be prehistory. Prehistory, or the prehistoric era. This is the time before there are written records. Now, is that in the past? Yes, it's way back in the past. That's the earliest stuff. That's going to be like your Stone Age. You're going to be your Bronze Age, your Iron Age, a long time ago before people were actually writing things down. This is prehistory, or the prehistoric era. All right. Then all of a sudden, we're going to start having records. All right. They're going to be written. People start writing things down. And then we as historians, we can start figuring things out as more of a fact instead of just guesses. Prehistory have a lot of theories and guesses. Prehistory, we don't know 100% sure what's happening back then. But then all of a sudden people started writing things down. We as historians, and you as historians, we can interpret what they're writing down and make things into more of facts. All right? So we call these things, all right, or the time period after written records, after we have written records, we call this the historic era, or we call it history. Okay? We think this is around 8,000 BCE, all right, when farming develops, people start developing certain records and all. We'll talk about the agricultural revolution that happens in 8,000 BCE. People start developing communities around their farms. Anyways, we'll talk about that later. So just make sure you understand that history means the time after there are written records, and prehistory means the time before written records. Now, time will also be broken up into a couple of different ways, maybe unusual to you. First, y'all are used to the timeline, and when it's really old, it's before Jesus, you remember that as BC, or before Christ. All right, and then you remember the time after Jesus, that was AD, which stands for Anno Domini, or the year of our Lord. Well, everybody in the world is not a Christian. There's only about 30% of the people that are Christians in the world. And what's actually happened is a lot of new historians, or new more diverse historians, have become a part of the historical world, and they've actually begun to change BC and AD, and they've come up with a new way. Check this out, okay? Instead of having just BC and AD, before Christ and Anno Domini, what they've done is they've taken and they've made what's called BCE. We'll talk more about this later, which is before the Common Era. It's the same years as BC, and they have the Common Era. It's the same years as AD. We'll look at a little timeline later on and get more involved with this, but we'll be using these terms right here. And basically what they're trying to do is make history, a little more non-religious, and making it more, here's a word for you, secular, or more worldly, because not everybody is a Christian. You don't have to like that, you don't have to agree with it, but that is what's happening. So when you read certain books, this is what you'll see that's going on. All right, now some other things you might want to know, and I swear you do, guys. You guys are smart. You know, if you hear the word century, a century is 100 years. Okay. If you hear the word decade, D-E-C-A-D-E, that is 10 years. And there are a millennium, it's a million years. There's billennium. There's all these other things you need to know about, or you should kind of, come across it and it'd be okay. All right, so guys, there's periodization, and always remember to be amazing.